Welcome to Raw Talk, Real Healing.
It's like therapy, but with more laughs and less copays.
I'm Gabby.
And I'm Diana.
We're licensed therapists.
But here, we just want to have raw and unapologetic conversations.
So come vibe with us, where professional meets personal.
Let's get it.
Hey guys, welcome back to Raw Talk Tuesday.
Hey y'all, how's it going?
It's going.
I feel that. I feel that. It's been a busy week. 2 times this week I had to wake up like way earlier than I normally do, but I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
I haven't woken up early in like a long time.
I'm not a morning person.
You were for a second.
A hot second.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
It's over.
It's over.
Gone.
Gone.
Bye.
Gone with the wind.
Okay, so I want to know something.
What's that?
Okay. At what point did all of our listeners and all of society become therapists?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. You know what's crazy?
What?
I was actually watching a video last night, and I'm like, they was listening to our conversation, but it was this lady who was, I guess she had her doctorate maybe, but I don't know what, and I didn't go that far, but she wasn't a licensed therapist, but she called herself a therapist. And so it was one of those videos where people talk, they show a clip, and then the other person starts talking.
Like responding.
Yes.
Okay.
And this person responding was an actual licensed therapist, whatever. And I'm going back and I'm like, you know what? I'm with you. Because don't be calling yourself no therapist and you are not ethically licensed.
I was just going to say that. Isn't that unethical? We were just talking about ethics before this, but...
Yes. She was basically saying like, I don't have to go against no board and blah, blah, blah. You only need therapy. You only need a license to practice therapy to bill insurance. And the lady came on, she was like, that's not true.
So is she like a life coach?
So that's what the licensed therapist was saying. She's like, okay, first of all, what you're giving is like life coach, coaching, not therapist. And she was just basically like letting everybody know like what licensure for us, how that keeps clients safe, you know what I mean? And, so forth and so on. But it just reminded me of that when you said that. When did everybody become therapists? Because everybody want to be therapists, I guess.
And hey, more power to you, but I hope you come correct.
Yeah. I don't think people understand the actual harm that it causes. And I think that's important to know. You see the other reels where everyone's like, why are therapists trying to be influencers? And then it's like, because influencers are trying to be therapists.
Oh, facts. No, I haven't seen that. But I actually watched a video, I think it was on TikTok yesterday. And it was this girl talking about how she's been with her therapist for 4 years. And the girl was saying that one time the therapist called her after session and was like, I don't think you really listened to me. I feel devalued, all this stuff. And then it was just like a whole bunch of different, like, basically red flags, I'm going to call it. And she was like, so I'm going to need the other therapist to like comment back and let me know. I immediately went to the comments, and that's not something that I typically do. And I actually commented back. I was like, what the fug? I put FUUUUG. I'm like, as a therapist, you were your therapist for 4 years. Like, there was so much, like, countertransference happening. This therapist was horrible. The stuff that this girl was saying. And, I mean, it's TikTok, so who knows if it's true.
I want to see it. Why you didn't send it to me?
I'll have to see if I can find it somehow because I, like, liked it or commented it or whatever.
Yeah. Huh.
It was insane.
Interesting. Every time I get someone that comes in and talks about, like, a therapist that's horrible, I'm like, what's their name? Where do they practice at?
Yes. Remember I was telling you guys? I did get the name. I have to circle back.
Okay.
Some of these people, man. I can't believe it. And then I think to myself, like, phew, I'm in the clear.
Right.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wowzers. Wowzers.
No, it can get crazy out here.
Mm-hmm.
I think what happens is, right, let's think about therapy talk.
Yeah.
What does therapy talk sound like?
Okay. Narcissist.
Boundaries.
Oh,
Right.
toxic.
Mm-hmm.
Self-awareness. That's a good
Using,
one.
overusing.
Yes. The problem is all of these words are valid. Like,
Mhm.
these words have true meaning to them.
Yeah.
But when people misuse them and overuse them, I think they lose their value.
Well, 100%. You have to know how to use it
Right.
correctly. That goes back to if you're not using it or know how to, if you weren't taught,
Mm-hmm.
how can you provide something effective?
Right. And I feel like if you are one of these people who does this, maybe you should educate yourself a little bit. Like, if this is a word that you want to use, or if you feel like this could be happening to you, or if this word needs to be in your vocabulary, maybe you should do a little research, or maybe go to therapy and figure out what that word actually means.
Because where did you get that word from?
Lord help me. I hope it ain't TikTok.
Most likely.
Reels.
Yeah. And like, don't get me wrong, they're supposed to enlighten us
Yes.
or maybe educate us or like, that sounds familiar or let me look into this. But like you said, after you hear something, people just take it and run with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like everything is like, oh, I'm setting boundaries. I need my peace. I'm walking away, whatever it is. And it's like, okay, we want peace. We want boundaries. We want all of those things.
Right.
But are you just labeling those things without having actual communication? Like, are you putting that on me?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you're avoiding or you don't know how to communicate,
Right.
something with me.
And I think that's the point where, like, these terms and the therapy talk, whatever you want to call it, that's when it starts to become harmful.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yes, like we're saying, these things are important. They are valid. We love these words. Like, we say that often. However, if we're overusing them and misusing them, it can be harmful to other people. Like you said, are you just throwing that label on somebody instead of communicating? Are we just like cutting people off and that's our boundary and that's us protecting our peace? Like, is that helping you or is that harming you?
100%. And I think that sometimes, I'm not going to say all the time, but sometimes it is harmful because you have no idea how you're making that other person feel.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you feel something, and if you're not communicating what's going on, how can we, solve this? How can we understand each other? If you're
Yep.
just like, oh, you're this, you're that. I'm creating space. I'm walking away. I'm going to manage my peace better or whatever the hell people say.
Right.
Like, stop.
And I feel like that's the point where that's not boundaries. That's kind of just being mean. That's not being respectful of somebody else's feelings. And it's really being dismissive. Like, you're using this term to make you feel better about a behavior that you're not changing because you're too scared to have a hard conversation.
100%. I couldn't put it better.
Wow, I just feel like I dropped bars.
Yeah. I'm going to save that clip and send it out. Boom, boom, boom.
I know who you're going to send it to first.
Like, for real, because that actually makes you toxic. You talking about somebody else is toxic. No, you're toxic.
Yeah.
You don't know how to handle and manage your emotions and shit you've been through, and you want to put it on somebody else.
Exactly. Unhealthy.
That shit just got me tight.
I know. Y'all see that? Y'all see that?
No, for real.
This is how Diana be coming at me in the chat.
Oh, I chose violence yesterday.
Yeah. Yes, you did.
My bad.
And it was giving all of that.
Jasmine was like, Diana, you're a whole therapist. I was like, not right now. Not in this chat, I'm not.
She did not come correct with her credentials.
I didn't. But sometimes people gotta hear it. You know?
I agree.
You know what this kind of reminds me of?
What?
What happened to like healthy, fair fighting? Like sometimes us having conflict or trying to work some shit out. Why every disagreement or conflict is unhealthy?
Right. I think that there is healthy conflict in relationships, whether it's friendships, families, romantic relationships. We're all human. We have different opinions, different beliefs, different values. There's going to be conflict. But just because there's a conflict doesn't mean that you can point the finger at somebody and be like, oh, you're toxic, and my boundary is now going to be to cut you off because I need to protect my peace.
Right. Like a disagreement doesn't mean we're toxic.
Right.
It just means we're not agreeing about something right now.
And that can be uncomfortable, right? Like just because we are emotionally uncomfortable in a situation, sit with that. That doesn't mean that we're being emotionally abused. That doesn't make the other person a perpetrator or, a villain in your story.
Wait, that word gets me every time.
Perpetrator. But I couldn't think of the word. What am I going to say? Abuser?
No. Shit, yeah. Own it.
It's a perpetrator.
You see?
Is it the way that I say it?
No, it's just the word.
Like
Perpetrator.
It's very like.
That's funny.
Okay.
No, but no, you're absolutely right. You know what I mean? We have to learn how to build that back again. Like that's why all these people soft.
I was just gonna say all these motherfuckers.
Yeah, and soft at the end of that. Like we can actually have conversations, conflict resolution, problem solving.
Right.
Like, come on, like put it on the table.
So now I'm going to ask you a question.
What?
If being emotionally uncomfortable and having these things, like we're saying conflict can be healthy, right? What would you say to our listeners for them to recognize, like, okay, maybe this form of conflict is toxic. Maybe this form of conflict is unhealthy.
What do you mean? Like
what would be different in the conflict that would be like, you know what, that actually is unhealthy?
So, well, first of all, you have to understand let's say you and I are having a conflict right now, and like one of us or both are bringing each other down, right? And I just keep labeling and blaming stuff on you and not taking accountability. Yes. We understand that conversation is going to go nowhere.
Right. And that's unhealthy.
But if we're approaching something, right, and you're trying to tell me that I did something to offend you or what's going on, right? We have to be able to say, okay, let me listen. The problem is nobody wants to listen. Everyone is like, oh, that's on you. You got to feel that type of way. I'm setting my boundary right now. I don't want to talk about that. That's going to disrupt my peace. It's going to make me uncomfortable.
No, you just don't want to have a hard conversation.
You just don't want to have the hard conversation because the moment you feel emotionally uncomfortable, you're like, this is abuse. You're abusing me. You're telling me about what I did. If someone is maliciously attacking you and you are feeling unsafe, that is when you have to walk away.
Correct.
That's not conflict resolution.
That's where the boundary can come in. Because this conversation clearly is not going to go anywhere.
Right. But if I'm just telling you about yourself and what you did to me and how you make me feel, eat that shit. You did it.
Right? Like you have to take accountability and be like, you know what? I'm really sorry if whatever I did caused you to feel that way. I can be more mindful of that. I'm thinking about a conflict that I had in the past. And I feel like I did very well with taking accountability and recognizing where I might have went wrong. And that other person was like, I just need more time to process my feelings. And basically that's when they cut me off. I think that's like that toxic healing. Like you think you're doing better. You think you're healing yourself. No, girl. Or boy, no, bruh. That's toxic.
Yeah. No, 100%.
You can't have a hard conversation. You can't communicate.
Right. Like, I can't tell you how I feel. And, like, I can't tell you that hurt my feelings or that I don't think you're right for that or whatever it is.
Right.
That's because people think they know it all sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Something else came to my mind.
Yeah, like, stop. So I would say if you feeling some type of way about what someone is saying, that doesn't mean that it's abuse or they're attacking you. Just listen.
Right.
And then after that, validate what they feel. And then you can counteract, or have a conversation about why, you might have done those things, or you can take accountability and apologize at it and
Yes.
realize that someone took it that offensive,
Mhm.
But the moment that you're feeling unsafe about something, or the other person is shutting down, you know what? We're not going to get anywhere. You guys got to take space.
Right. This also made me think of, I think, even in, therapist or not, in my own healing journey, if that's what we want to call it, I learned to communicate much better than I previously did, because my go-to was always to be sarcastic, mean, and just like kind of shut people down. So I've gotten better.
Good, because I don't deal with that sarcastic
And
bullshit.
that used to be my MO. But I feel like another thing that could be unhealthy in conflict is when you are effectively communicating. And I feel like I'm like talking a lot here, but I feel like when I am communicating healthy in a conflict and the other person can't meet me where I'm at, their immediate response always is, "Don't talk to me like I'm one of your clients."
Mm-hmm.
Nothing grinds my gears more. Like, I'm not speaking to you like I'm your therapist. I'm speaking to you like a healthy adult human being.
Jamal said that to me before.
Grinds my gears.
Yeah. I don't think people are used to that.
Right.
It's just a process of like
Healing, growing.
Yep. And healing, when you're like, okay, let me actually practice what we preach.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like, let me
Yes.
use certain things because we know it's effective.
Absolutely.
So like, let's use it. But it doesn't always it doesn't always show up, I guess, like genuine to the other person.
Right.
Because they're not used to it.
Right. It was funny last night after we got off the phone, Mike looked at me, or I did something and I was like, I was thinking about this. And like I said something to him and he was like, "You always have so many like emotions to talk about." And I'm like, "This is what you get, honey."
Yeah. It is what it is.
That's right.
That's funny.
Well, I feel like something that also goes with like pointing out, like, "Oh, don't talk to me like I'm one of your therapists or one of your clients." I feel like that can almost be like them weaponizing the language that I'm using to use it against me.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, this is supposed to be a language of healing. You know what I mean? Understanding what you're going through.
Compassion.
Compassion. Not to be using it as a weapon, which
Right.
I don't know if we talked about this before, but I feel the same way about when people use their trauma as a weapon.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we
Like,
have talked about that.
we ain't going to be victim our whole lives. Stop. Because at some point, when are you going to take accountability?
I was just going to say, you have to take responsibility for
You
your
have
action.
to. Like, listen, I'm with you. I know you're not responsible for what somebody did to you, but you are responsible right now for
Right.
making the changes that are going to make you better, because no one's coming to save you.
Exactly. And I think this is like a moment where people will use that's triggering for me, or that's triggering. Okay, it might be triggering, but how about instead of labeling that and like shutting down, maybe you should try to explain how you're actually feeling. Like, let the other person know, allow them to, or maybe try to be a little bit vulnerable if this is somebody that you're close with. Let them know how you're feeling. They can't change what they're doing or adjust to maybe, or even show you respect or compassion if you are not telling them like, "Hey, this is how that just made me feel."
Right. You can't just be like, oh, setting a boundary, removing myself. Like, damn. Well, how are we supposed to move forward? Because isn't it about moving forward with
would
something?
think.
And you know what? People be like, oh, a boundary. You can't just say you set in a boundary and don't even know what your boundary is.
Right. Boundaries look like lines, not walls.
Like, what the hell? That should be pissing me off. Anyway.
I feel like people think they can say, like, I set a boundary, and then that just, like, excuses them from a situation.
Like, I'm gonna set a boundary. You just gonna use the word boundary? You ain't gonna tell me what your boundary is? You gonna explain? You gonna make me be a mind reader? Like what? I'm
Yeah.
setting a boundary. Bye. Like,
Well, that they think that that's what their boundary is, like removing themselves from whatever they don't feel like dealing with.
right. That only keeps you stuck, people.
Right. You ain't grown, boo.
Right. So get your shit together and actually research what these terms mean
Please do.
and how to apply them effectively.
Yeah, because healing isn't just being able to use these words. Healing is applying them, like I said earlier, and changing the behaviors. Unless if you are not changing, I'm sorry, ain't shit healing.
Preach, sister.
Thanks. I am on one today.
You are. I'm loving it.
My brain is braining.
So, since your brain is braining,
Mhm.
do you think people are quicker to cut like other people off like nowadays instead of working through things because all of the, therapy talk stuff?
Absolutely. And I also think that there's proof of this, right? Like divorce rate. Think about that. Like
We talk about this all the time. Me and a
divorce
client.
rate is so high because one, I think people get married for the wrong reasons, but that's not what today's
It's trendy.
that's not what today's episode is about. Today, people don't want to work through the hard things because they don't want to be vulnerable. They want to just say, like, this is my boundary. And if you cross it or if you don't listen to me, then I'm going to back away. Like, just because you set a boundary doesn't give you control over something within your relationship.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do think that because people aren't willing to communicate or people aren't willing to be vulnerable and be soft, even though everybody is, all of a sudden they want to put up this hard front like, peace out. I don't have to do this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's rude.
I also think that people see these unrealistic relationships or friendships or whatever it is on social media. In the moment, it's like, oh, we're not perfect. Look where we're fighting. We're fighting over this little things. You know what? Sometimes that's what we fight over, little shit. You know what I mean? That we got to figure out. And that's okay. You know what I mean? Like everything is like so accessible. You know what I mean? So we think like that it's disposable.
Yeah, like if this doesn't work out, I can get rid of you and I can find somebody else.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, this is a fight, whatever. You know, I don't need this.
Right.
Don't you think that shit ain't gonna happen in your next friendship or relationship or whatever it is? It's going to happen.
And like we said earlier, everybody has conflict. But just because you have conflict doesn't mean that it's unhealthy. Now, if you are in an unhealthy relationship and the conflicts and how you're problem solving and how you're working through that conflict is unhealthy, okay, fine. Like you gave it your best. But just because there's conflict doesn't mean that you just have to cut this person off and just, that's it. I know plenty of people like that, and they have not gone through their healing journey yet.
They better get on it.
I think everybody needs a little bit of therapy, honest.
Well, yeah, we know that.
And I also think that anytime anybody ever goes to get married, I think that there should be like a requirement to go through some kind of like premarital thing.
Yeah.
Do we think that would help divorce rates?
Yeah.
I think so too.
I think that everybody should go through premarital counseling.
I agree.
For sure.
So, how do you know the difference between protecting your peace and when somebody is trying to protect their peace and when somebody is trying to avoid taking accountability?
I think it goes back to what I was saying. Like, if I'm feeling unsafe, you know what I mean? I think that's like, okay, I really have to protect myself right now because I'm not even feeling safe in this conversation or in this space or, what we're saying. But if you don't want to listen and you don't want to, like have that conversation if you're using these therapy words, right? And you're just throwing it in my face. I know you're trying to avoid this hard conversation because you don't want the consequences or the outcome of it.
Right. That's like when people use like big vocabulary in arguments just to kind of like scare people off or like make them feel inferior. But you better believe I'm gonna pull out my dictionary. I'm gonna look that shit up because I'm here.
What you mean? Right? Like, I mean,
Oh, I thought you were asking me like, what do I read? I'm like,
No.
what are you talking about? Did you see my face? I was like,
I'll be like, what you mean? I'll be like, layman's terms, please. Like, I don't know what you're saying.
right. Like,
You
we
know?
don't want all this clinical talk. Just be a fucking human.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Yeah. It doesn't make you smarter.
Mm-mm. Although I was talking on TikTok yesterday when I posted that reel, my mom commented on it. When did my daughter get so smart? So maybe it does make you a little bit smarter.
Well,
Just kidding.
it does
Just
get
kidding.
smarter, but it doesn't make you like better.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, just because you can say a clinical term better than somebody else doesn't
Right.
mean that your heart is in the right place.
Right.
You know? So.
All right. So let's play a little game.
Mm.
A little hot take
Okay.
or two.
Okay.
All right. Sometimes protecting your peace is avoiding discomfort.
True.
Facts. I
Yeah.
agree.
I think we nailed that one.
Yeah, we got that. Check.
You don't have boundaries, you have control issues.
So.
Okay. What do you mean?
I feel like it can be true because I did say that earlier. But I don't know that it's control issues. I think people use it to be dismissive.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. Now, I do think sometimes people do that because they want to be in control of the situation because they don't know how to take accountability.
Yeah. ASMR. Okay. Calling someone toxic is easier than admitting you were hurt.
Yes. True.
Yeah. But like, why can't you just say like that hurt my feelings?
Because one, sometimes pride.
Okay, facts. Okay, true.
Right? People don't want to admit that. And they also don't want to be that vulnerable with someone.
True.
Right? And then they want you to be able to fix you. Right? Because they think they think you are the problem.
Okay, true. All right, facts. Got it.
Self-awareness without change is just self-absorption.
Yes. I kind of like that. Because if you sit there and be like, oh, this about me, this about me, this about me, this about me. Okay, what are you going to do with that? You just going to keep talking about you?
Girl, you are saying some things that just get under my skin.
Share it with the class. Say it louder for the people in the back.
No, because it's just so true. Like, what happened to like fairness and understanding and listening? Why does every situation, every problem, this is really, I think, of a continuation of last session. Not session.
Yeah, not everything has to do with you.
Right. Like taking it personal, like, stop.
Guys, I think Diana's triggered.
Yes.
Take accountability.
Yes.
Bitch.
Because there's people who are like that hurt people that I love.
Yeah.
And that should be pissing me off.
I get
because
it.
you can't take accountability.
Right. And guys, this doesn't mean that we're like the perfect, most best humans around, but basically that's what this means. So.
Yeah. Like, come on now.
We don't hurt anybody's feelings. We always take accountability and we know how to communicate.
But at least if I do hurt your feelings, I'm open.
Yeah, I can own it.
Yeah, I can own it. I can listen because I know I can be rough sometimes. You know what I mean? I know that I'm not perfect. You know what I mean?
Rough.
But also I understand that in a situation, if it's two of us, then it's about the both of us.
Yeah.
It's not about just me. I can tell you that I'm hurt, but I also want to listen to you.
Yeah.
You know, and see how we can work together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the question I think that we want to leave everybody with is, have you grown? Or have you just gotten better at explaining why you don't have to?
Oh, yes. Wait, real quick. You know what that reminds me of?
What?
When people say, I'm healed. I'm just so good. I am peaceful. I am this, I am that. But back on this same journey.
Guys, the journey never ends.
That's right.
There's always room for improvement.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode.
See you guys next week.
If you have any questions or would like to connect with us, please follow us on Instagram and send us a DM or send us an email to the platforms listed below.